Hello, Vasalites. Welcome to the replay of OA24 buying time. If you have not seen the strategy session, you probably don't give a shit about it anyway, but it is posted on the VASL Linguistics site, of course. But here we go on the log file of my attempt to perpetuate a decent plan to go through the enemy defense or around it, as the case may be, and try my best at it and hopefully dodge some bullets along the way. Let me adjust the map here so you can see my units coming in. It'll be pretty straightforward. Again, in referencing the road that's on the top, I didn't really want to plow my guys halfway in the desert and then expend those movement points up there. You could. It's up to you if you want to take that top route, getting hot and heavy, but that is definitely an option. But my guys down here, of course, you probably don't even need the concealments. But this is typically what you could do off board, so he doesn't know what's coming on in what order until it reaches the P6. And even then, it doesn't really matter. Once he has a line of sight to that location, you might as well remove all your units because he can't fire upon them in the back while you're off board. You might as well just take them all off and put them right in the front because he can always fire on P6 or he's going to have vision at P6. So if you have concealment on your vehicles like this, I mean, theoretically you can keep it on unless he, if he doesn't want to reveal a unit, then he simply doesn't have to, but he could, and therefore cause you to lose concealment of all units. At that point, just strip them all, especially if you know they're all going to come to the same location. It's kind of counter clutter, but they will strip as we proceed. So turn 1 of 7 French, 6 American. Again, I've got the movement points listed on the map at certain strategic locations, just to remind me on the fly of what my movement point expenditures will be, so I don't have to try to remember to look it up on the chart, as I have 2 separate types of movement point allotments or movement point essentially charts that I have to look up. Top one is going to be the truck expenditures. The bottom one will be the motorcycle sidecar expenditures. So with that, let's go ahead and proceed and get turn 1 going, and let's see how well I do. It may or may not bode well. So I'll give you a little synopsis at the end of each turn on where I think I am in the game. We had the video log of this recorded. Unfortunately, one of our sessions, for whatever reason, my voice recorded and my opponents did not. I don't know why. Maybe that particular audio was shut off for some reason. I don't change any settings between sessions. So thank you, Windows. Anyway, we're proceeding. Turn 1, rally face. I don't really give a shit about the weather, although that's always a recurring thing. The wind's not going to make that much of a difference in this one here. Only if something's burning and he's got to roll like snake eyes if it's burning. And at that point, whatever. All right, here we go. Initially, what I'm going to do here is I've got my units off board. I'm just going to remove the concealments anyway. It might screw with the log, but we're going to try it. If it screws with the log, it screws with the log. Again, they're not needed. So, what we have here, I'll leave some of these other ones on there. I have my leaders in certain positions. I've already self-deployed, I think two squads. No, the unit here with the mortar. So I drop the mortar off for one guy. That's the 60mm mortar, and he's got just a medium machine gunner with the 4.57 on a motorcycle. Sidecar, mind you, sidecar. And then I have a lead up front, the 8-1, 8-0 here, and I think the 7-0 in the back. They're all going to try to attempt to deploy. units in those, at least in the trucks. One of them, I think I'm going to try one in the truck first, and then the motorcycle maybe last, and that's to provide multiple scouts for the motorcycles, multiple targets, so I don't lose as much with those. And you can do that even if you're on a motorcycle. It simply says leader in the same location. It doesn't say in the same conveyance. The location is T5. The location is way back here in Y6. It does prevent some deployment if you are, like, I think there's a guy, if you're in a crest status, I don't think you could deploy the units inside, and vice versa. Therefore, you're kind of like in a pseudo location. Here, there is one location. So that's what the rules say, and that's what we're playing with. So we're going to go ahead and proceed. So you'll see some bouncing around, maybe a couple units. There's a deployment. There's a deployment. I think I was successful in all my deployments, which is not like me. So we're going to move the motorcycle first, the 237. I suspect there might be a medium machine gun here. Of course, he's got a big fat stack, like we said in the setup. I'm going to remove the dice. I guess I could leave the dice on there. They're kind of annoying. All right, there we go. I think we fixed the dice, so at least you guys can see the dice on the left-hand side. I could probably move those to the right later. So anyway, my motorcycle is going to move forward. I anticipate some possibly a machine gun right here. High risk, high reward. He could drop down a fire lane through these hexes here with no modifiers. If I want to, if he wants to slow me down by a hex or two, which is a lot of movement points in this case, to be honest, to be honest with you, if I want to avoid the 2 firepower shot here for free, my armor is not going to have a problem with it, but all my other troops are going to be taking shots, and we'll have essentially a free 2 firepower shot, on the 2 firepower column, and that's a 4. All I have to do is roll a 4 to immobilize the unarmored vehicles, and then a 5 will yield a normal, a 6 will yield a normal morale check on the motorcyclists. I think that's kind of worth it. Otherwise, I'd have to expend some movement points to move around. For the motorcycles, it's not that bad because they have a lot of movement. But for the vehicles, if I were to avoid this hex here, I'd have to go up, off, back, and then back, not even back down. I'd just have to go this way. And so this would be, say it takes me 2 movement points to get to the front, then I'd have to go 6, 10, 14, 18, and I'm done there. That can legit send me a turn behind. Is it worth it? That's for the defender to decide. I might be inclined to throw it out there. Plus, if he wants to run the vehicles down here into the building here, then most likely, if this is a mortar, then he will probably have some defensive capabilities to work upon the mortar. Or at that point, you put a bazooka in this guy's hands to anticipate that. Because if all the trucks are going to avoid this, they're not going to be within vicinity of this bazooka man that's going to fire a shot on any one of those vehicles. So that's the key, right? I mean, you're going to want to get your bazooka shot off. You're either going to get a 3 hex shot, which is going to be what, 11,974. 7 plus 2, 5. He needs a 5 to hit. That's not bad. He'll have 3 targets. Shoot. Not a bad idea. Bait him, make him come down. Maybe he doesn't want to move the armor after that. You don't know. And let him sleaze freeze you. Just let him sleaze freeze you at that point. You'll have a bazooka. If he loses one early, then your medium machine gun, let's see, he destroys the one with the medium machine gun. Oops, sorry about that. In defensive fire, or his prep fire next turn, that his bazooka is going to nail you. So choices and decisions you have to make as a player. And try to live by them. So let's proceed with these guys moving here. I'm just going to show you these guys right here. Man, I wish the font size. I'm pretty sure I reduced the font size of this dice on the side, not to be so big. That's kind of overkill. I'll check into that. Anyway, let's proceed. So motorcycle comes down, he reveals a 7-0 leader here. I start tracking it like this, kind of pseudo tracking it. It can be useful at times, and I think a couple times it was during this game. I simply buzz down here. I sleaze freeze this location here. I am a vehicle. This unit is considered a vehicle, so therefore, if anyone were here at the end of my movement phase, they should have to be revealed. So therefore, if I interpreted that correctly, because these are not infantry, these are riders on a vehicle. This would be something like riders on a truck occupying a location. They'd have to lose their hip status and so on and so forth. So that was the idea behind that, is to clear out that particular location so the rest of my units can just drive smoothly. And then as you deploy, you could freely deploy your motorcycles and sidecars and bicycles, etc., the horses, you know, whatever, and then proceed normally. I'm going to try and destroy this unit here as best as possible. Note, didn't really pay attention during the game, but it just so happens during the game that the only units I overran with were units with sidecars. Units with motorcycles have jack shit for fire capabilities. Jack shit. So keep that in mind. Read the rules. Check them out, and make sure you don't make some simple mistakes like that. I don't know if they're simple. They're just kind of like, one guy can, one guy can't, especially if you mix them. So anyway, he shoots at me here. I think he shoots at me. I overrun him. I think it's like 2 firepower. Nothing to spit at. I mean, 6, 5 is a morale check. He's got jack shit for morale. I didn't roll anything for firepower, and then like subsequent for fires in my own location, bounces off with a 7, and then this is the 23 movement points right here that we're burning, and I got to mark them with advanced fire. So platoon movement as these bad boys come on because they have no radios, and they're going to occupy positions up here. And what am I doing this for? Again, if you watch the strategy thing, the machine guns hit far more often and far more frequently with your ass turret facing them. With these vehicles, it doesn't really matter too much, especially for if this is a more, well, I guess it is, huh? Oh, that's weird. Whatever. Double check your shit when you set up so this doesn't occur. So if he fires a mortar at these guys, doesn't matter whether it's the rear or not. It just doesn't. So yes, this guy in the back, jack shit. This guy in the back will be hindered by the guys in the front, but a 4+2 shot is better than nothing. And the 37's to hit. He's not going to stay there. I guess if I acquired him, he might move. Doesn't really matter. He would just move back to the FF7, then I'd have to reacquire him, and just do the dice game. I don't want to screw with that. So it's like stay for wherever you are. These are olive groves. These are +1 TEMs. I'm just gonna fire you at +1 TEM wherever you want to go. I'm just gonna rat-a-tat-tat and shoot you down. And so that's the concept behind that. So those bad boys roll up there. Let's proceed. And I've turned 1 turret here just so I could fire on this guy. It will be a hindrance as well, but whatever. So this guy here, this is probably my first mistake. First of many. I plop my motorcycles down here, and I unload a lot of the guys. And I think that is not the purpose of the motorcyclists in this particular game. He got like a 4 on some bullshit roll. Immobilized my guy, unfortunately. So yeah, that's a bad thing. And then guess what? I'm gonna be stuck in close combat with a half squad against a truck with a passenger. So he's gonna have minuses until the cows come home, and I'm gonna be lucky if I survive that shit. Hopefully, advanced fire will break this unit and solve all my problems. You think I have enough units around here to deal with this little maggot, but never count your victories until the band starts playing. So anyway, we're going to proceed and move some more dudes. Again, I just swarmed this guy. Don't really care. Just, rah, here comes the mortar. I want to drop the mortar early, so in case he's got more units or a guy's going to move up or something like that, I can interdict some units. Interdict that as in terms of broken, but as in terms of interdicting their movement, and blast the living crap out of some of these guys in the woods. Obviously, there's a couple hindrances between here and there. And I'm not a big fan of all this stuff, jamming them all up in the middle. Here comes, this is what I should have done with all the motorcycles, right here. This is what I should have done, is just blow them all down the road. On turn one, all the motorcycles would be in this area. That leaves me about 4, I think there were 4 squads on the motorcycles, if I'm not mistaken. 4 to 6 squads. That's a hefty attack force. And that's it for those guys. So these guys will be just kind of scoot you over like this. And this will be essentially the rest of the game will be right here. So that would be a hefty attack force to have all my motorcycles in this particular area. It does one of 2 things. One, when they stop, if they break, they just drop off the motorcycles. If they're in motion, you do not want to leave these in motion in the line of fire of your enemy units, which they are presently in. So that's why I have to stop these guys. They're much, much, much safer. Yes, they are exposed. They are -1. But if they're moving, they're -2. And so this way, if they were infantry moving, they'd be -2. But since they're motorcyclists moving, they're only -1. I'll take that. You know, I don't know if these guys are 666s or 457s or whoever the hell they are. If you overwhelm him, he's only got a couple shots. And as soon as he fires and loses his concealment, he's going to have some 4 firepower machine guns, at least 2 of them, you know, rat-a-tat-tatting in his direction. And with two dice rolls, you're bound to get a morale check, you know, hopefully on average. And that way these guys don't even have to fire. So I think that's, looking back, that was my mistake, is maybe I got caught up in this guy being immobilized, saying, oh, I need to go just trounce that unit. Leave the trucks there. The trucks are fine. They can actually fire from the trucks, whereas the motorcycles, they can't. All these motorcyclists, the 8-1, these losers here with the medium, which would definitely bait a shot, right? Maybe leave another leader back there. Maybe not take the 8-1 up in the front. Maybe. I don't know. Choice is yours. If you have the 8-1 up in front, that'd be extremely strong force. If you can get 2 to 3 squads in here, have 1 or 2 squads. Once you reach this point here, these guys are unknown. You could route this direction. Okay? Happen to reach this point right here, and then you break at this location. That is a completely safe spot to be. You could then proceed to route in this general direction. Let me move the map. It will have to delete that. I can move the map anyway. That's the last guy in session. So this will be like the entire game right here for the most part. So if you break at this location here, kind of fall off your motorcycles. You don't bail out unless you're moving, because both of these units, this guy might be in line of sight. Let's say they both are. You can route directly in that direction, as that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This location, excuse me, and this location are equidistant in terms of route destination selection. You may choose any one of those to route to if you're broken here. So if all your motorcycles got here, 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 and here, all these guys here would be safe to route in a forward direction. Is that safe? It could be safe. If he should happen to come down here and force them to route back, that's fine, because now this unit's not in line of sight, because if you go to CC9, he won't be in line of sight. If you are in CC10, that's not a problem either, because if you route this direction, you're not getting closer to this unit here. You might see somebody over here like this guy, which means he needs to be eliminated. That's the only guy that's going to cause you a problem. This guy's not going to cause you a problem. This guy's not going to cause you a problem. They're like the direct spoke line of line of sight. Those aren't any issues. This little bastard is, and he will be eliminated by the time you get over here and he causes you a problem. But he could potentially come down here and be a stick in the throat. Does he want to do that? Does he want to leave that position of safety? Is he a dummy? Is he not a dummy? I did some soul searching and counting. 2 of his stacks are dummies. The 2, well, you know, they could be anywhere. But just in terms of card counting, 2 of his stacks are dummies. You could try to figure out as we play which ones might be dummies. Obviously, the 2, 3, 6 in the bottom right-hand corner. And there's a 7-0 right here. We don't know what else is with him. He just revealed a 7-0. So if this is a dummy unit, moving down here to DM more units will do nothing. So if this unit moves down here to DM units, you know he's a live unit. This one right here, most likely that's a real unit because of the bottleneck here. Whether it be through here or here, this unit can react very well. Fat stack of dudes. I wouldn't put 4 dummies because that's all he has in one stack. This has to be something. And since we know this is the mortar now, this has to be the medium machine gun. He could have a leader in there. He could put 2 stacks of dummies to facilitate. It looks like a leader. Not sure I'd put the leader there. Honestly, I might be a little bit more conservative, but, you know, maybe. But it doesn't really matter what I think about what his defense is. It's what his defense is, honestly, right now. So you can route forward once you reach the G10 location, G8, or any one of these locations are safe locations for you to break in because all of these trees over here are going to be your destinations. You could choose to low crawl. Yeah, it's up to you. You could low crawl one guy, the hot bust ass the other guys. The key point is if you do reach and obtain these positions, these vehicles or trucks or somebody else needs to really kind of come up and give them support, because if he counterattacks and tries to eliminate those units, you need to decimate them, make them pay. That might take you out of your game plan. But just to reiterate, motorcycles, read them, enjoy them, use them, stay on them. Don't stay on them when the guy's got like, well, actually you could. Screw it. If you've got 8 morale, 7 morale, and the guy's got medium machine gun, whatever the case may be, he might want to take that shot. You're better defended than a unit in the open. So instead of having to bait out half squads, right? Let's say you do half squad blitz to make him, to bait him out. It's the exact same thing. You know, it's the exact same thing. If you're going to take that -3 shot, here you're going to take a -1 shot. And if he's a -1 leader, it's going to be a -2 shot. So you're actually safer on the motorcycle. Yes, he can break you, but if you're a full squad, you're going to have the full squad. Well, not the French, but you'll have a full squad's normal, if you're playing the Germans, Americans, Brits, whoever, Russians, where they don't decrease in morale, you're going to have a solid 7 or 8 to roll, depending on who you are. And if you should happen to fail that second bailout morale check, so be it. You know, that's the chance you take, but at least you baited the shot. That's the point. But the point is being on the motorcycle, you're still safer than the half squad. So if you're risking a half squad at a -3 shot, you could risk a full squad on a -2 shot, and the full squad will survive more often than the half squad, theoretically, by a slim margin. You are risking a bit much, but that's the whole point, right? You want him to shoot. You know, if you think this guy's the machine gunner, you want him to shoot. I just better have some other units ready to move across. Again, that's what I think that's what makes this a poor decision. This is probably going to bait. If you're going to do this, probably bait with the half squad, which is this guy back here. Should I have waited a turn? Probably, but I didn't, and so you'll see what happens. But that's just things you got to need to think about when you're trying to pursue your game and try to make effective all your games. And this is where kind Caslo goes on like a 500. No, maybe that's next turn. So my last unit comes on, boom, 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 and then, oh yeah, here jumps the mortar fire, and here's just 15 shots. It's like all these are singles, all these are from the same order. Pop, 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 pop. I keep passing my morale checks, task checks, and whatever that bullshit may be. And then, so he does get lots of shots, and I do get a lucky shot firing back on him after his 12 mortar rounds dropped on him. I thought he actually broke him, to be honest with you. Didn't break him, so we have to go to close combat over there. And then that's it for that. And then we have to go route phase. This unit he doesn't have to route. Choice is his. He decides to route. Closest cover is where? Take a look at the map and tell me if he decides to route where he can route to, not using low crawl like most cowards do. Where would he fully route to? What destination is his closest cover? A lot of guys are screwing this up in their games. And I'm not just saying the guys that just started playing ASL. A lot of old timers don't know where the closest cover is in this instance. Where can he route to? All right, you should have determined it by now. There are only 3 destinations that are the closest in distance. Actually, that's not even one of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 2 destinations that he can select initially for his route. I hope you're saying it on the screen now or yelling at me, shut the hell up, Stu. I already know which one it is. It is DD6. GG, whatever the hell it is. GG4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Why can't we go here? Remember, I said these are olive groves. If you've been paying attention, these are 2 movement factors. 2, 4, 6. Not an option. Not an option. So we're going to erase that. Do not route here. Do not let... If your opponent has a 9-2 leader in DD8, 10-2, 10-3, whatever, or a leader, and he has no leader here, do not let him route in this direction. You would be just as fault as he is. Pay attention to the route paths. He may not route there. Not eligible. Nothing prevents him from going to DD8. And what direction can he take when he goes to DD8? Does he have to go this way? Some of you think that he has to take the shortest route in MF. That would be incorrect. He could take any route as long as he attempts to get there. Well, he can go 2, 4, 6. That would be perfectly fine. Especially if these walls don't exist and these are interdictable hexes. Then he would be avoiding the interdiction. We don't have to worry about getting shot in either of those occasions. But we're taking this route to get there. This route doesn't have to be the route that determines the shortest of an MF. It just has to be a route that he has to take that he can get to the same destination. Okay? That's a legal route. Some people don't understand that that's a legal route along with this one here. If for whatever reason he should happen to pop down here and let's say this wall wasn't here and he sees a bad guy right here, now he has to recalculate where he can go. And at that point, he can go to DD8. That's called strategic routing. And if you don't think that's the case, well, you might need to revisit the rulebook. So, I think he decides to route here. Again, I'm really high on routing because I just don't see people doing it properly at any level. And it's consistent. And yes, even I make some mistakes too. We're all going to make a couple little simple things in here, but the basis of routing is very simple. Closest in MF, and it's easy, just like you're moving. I mean, everyone knows how to move an infantry unit. Just act like you're moving a unit, just use the closest movement factors. And it's really, it's as simple as that. So, he doesn't route. That little bastard. And so, but of course, he rallies on the next roll. And then so that's exactly what he needed to roll is a 4, which is fine. You know, whatever. It's going to happen. He's going to rally, or sometimes he's going to fail. That's just what happens. And for some reason, that just popped down. Don't really want to do that. There we go. Excuse me. And so, I don't need to get concealments on those guys. Actually, I had a concealment from here because he was out of line of sight, but he became good order. And as soon as the good order unit shows up, you lose the concealment if you're not in concealment terrain. Thus, you don't really need to bother with concealments in your vehicles unless you're actually in concealment terrain. There's actually no purpose. And so, that's right. The medium machine gunner pops me right here and DMs me. So, that was a good shot on his part. That's his only target again. This is something to think about. I didn't give him any other targets to fire at. So, he shoots me. You know, that's a good shot. He's got no other shots. If I had like 3 or 4 units down there, maybe he keeps his fire. Don't know. So, that's kind of what we're looking at there. So, he prep fires and rakes that unit down. He isn't going to be in open ground. I don't really have a problem with that. Why? Why don't I have a problem with this? Because he can route away. Simply because he can route away. The units over here are eliminated. He can low crawl, low crawl, low crawl, low crawl, low crawl. Because I can't go this direction, off to the left, he can low crawl forever back. But what do I have on motorcycles? Well, nothing there yet. I can get a leader on a motorcycle and legit just drive the leader, park it to wherever he's going to low crawl to, and attempt to rally him. You'll see that as a desperation move. Obviously, it's a desperation morale. And unfortunately, he's got some bad boys coming down. As you see, the units up top are proceeding to put some pressure on me. I turned the gun around here just in case he wants to sit there at I-9. And since I'm going to be taking the +1 from the 4 firepower shot, I might as well get an acquisition on it. And at that point, it might give me an extremely low chance of critical hitting. It'll be the same result. And for some reason, that son of a bitch breaks. And I guess he routes already. Yeah, we're determining lines of sight to see where the tracking of the marker goes. So this is one thing that you might want to keep in mind. As you stated here, I don't know if my opponent did it intentionally, but if you notice, if my opponent routed this way in the shortest MF, the tracking would have stayed here because I would have lost line of sight of him. But since he went here, he pulled the acquisition and moved it off the mortar in case somebody else here, or here were in the position to re-obtain the mortar to fire at my other units. He pulls it off so I don't get that free -1. This is the sort of thinking that you have to do when you're routing your units. Again, don't dismiss the route phase. As soon as you start studying the route phase and studying what options and what advantages it can give you, you will win literally 30% of your games by default just by routing better. And if you don't believe me, that's fine. Keep losing those extra 30%. I'm sure your tournament opponents won't mind. So it does help. And if you don't think it helps, that's fine. And we'll continue. Looking for line of sight shots with the mortars, not getting shit. I think it's 6 movement, 6 hindrances. I take my shot. Again, he loses his DM status here. It's like I'm going to low crawl here. I'm going to lose my DM status. Why? I'm not in normal range of a known enemy unit. Even though he shot me with a machine gun, he reobtained concealment. I'm not going to be DM'd. So that's fine with me. And in my turn, my tanks move up. Try to get point blank. So I tried to overrun him here. Didn't work. Here comes my half squad. He gets zapped with the snake eyes. Shit happens. 8-0 on a motorcycle. Moves up a little bit. 4-5-7s. All these guys kind of move creep along here. I don't want to take the medium machine gun first. What I'm planning to do is a one-time move to get across this open area here. He's going to drop a fire lane, and I just want to be able to take that fire lane one time, not multiple times. So as soon as something initiates that fire lane, everybody needs to be able to cross that fire lane. That's the whole point there. Some guys are in the back here. Another unit got zapped here when his 666 came out of hiding. The cowards that they are, and he eliminated one of my good units up there. I think he had a medium machine gun. Yeah, there's a medium there, but it's not. So that's a bad thing. I had a 7-0 up here. Half threw him away, half didn't. A 1-2 against a half squad here, CX. I really didn't care about it. It wasn't going to be an ambush situation. I figured if I could freeze him by the time these guys can get up there, I could finish them off. That's the chance that I took. Was it the best chance? Probably not. But that was part of my game plan at the part. And that's something that might take your opponent off kilter. You know, he might not expect a 7-0 leader charging and jumping him in close combat. You know, hell, I wouldn't expect that. I'd love that. So come, let me go kill all your leaders. Especially if you got a mortar in the back that needs to move. But the mortar is a stationary unit. It's not going to go anywhere. All it's going to do is load up on trucks or whatever the case may be. Here, at this point in the game, this mortar, for all intents and purposes, is abandoned. It will take a full turn to get to him, and then a full turn to move back to exactly where this truck might be. You just don't have really that much time to do that and bother with the mortar. The mortar's just got to slink up and shoot at people that he can get to. I see this target of opportunity over here. My plan is to eventually move up in this general direction, put pressure on him, because this plan here is starting to develop to start to cross here. So my mortar needs to be in a position such that I can bring fire down on this unit. If I could break this unit, you know, perfect world, prior to or just in the prep fire phase when these guys are going to move, it'll be like a giant, you know, gate opening up. You know, Lord's Deep or something like that. The whole gate will open up and all the troops will run through. That's the idea there. This guy not revealed, which leads me to believe, is he waiting for a point blank shot on a truck or something? I don't know. Don't know. No point in close combating these guys when he's got bazookas and the medium machine gun that could rip holes in them. I mean, they're only 0 armor. Range is less than 6, so his good kill is going to be a base 5. So not a problem there. And again, you got a bottleneck in the back over here that you got to always be concerned about. He's already set up for it, already waiting. It's like the cooks at the mess hall. You know, it's at 11:59. All the troops are coming in 1 minute. They're all just waiting for him. So, but that's the plan with the mortar. Push him up. Destroy this unit here. Get a free, easy one here. And then make something of these guys. These guys are in between going this way and destroying these units up here. A little bit indecisive here. Probably cost me a little bit more offensive power than I had to lose, to be honest with you. Probably another mistake there. You guys can decide on that. Say, hey, yeah, you really get shit done with those guys. Doesn't really matter whether you actually get shit done with them. It's the plan is the idea. And I just kind of didn't have too much of a plan. I think I just want to break a couple of units, put pressure on the top, because all these guys on the bottom were my victory conditions. These guys over here were the, quote, engaged shock troops. And that was kind of the plan. And remember, the vehicles, the trucks, getting off with a half squad on them for 2 points out of the 12 needed was a big part of the plan. I started losing trucks pretty quickly, but you know, you have to expect that to happen. He did roll a 7, close combat. That's enough to kill me, which is fine. We're running on to turn, Frenchie turn 3, no, the American turn 2, I think. Another prep fire shot. Actually, not sure who the hell he shot at. Nobody got DM'd. Again, my E9 unit again right here. Beginning of the French turn, I just need to roll 6. Self rally. Don't even need Dupont. Oh, I want him. Here comes a 666 back up to the mortar. That actually misses the wall. So maybe it misses or hits it. I don't recall. Oh, finally he gets damned. I was going to move him back too, but it's like, eh. Here come the trucks. One of them does get blown up. Again, you're to kill a 3. That's going to kill anything. Hits for the 7. I think it's what he needed. And then hits with a 3. Well, hits with a 4 is exactly what he needed. It's fine. You know, whatever. It is what it is. But now he's in +1 terrain. +1 TEM at the end of the advanced fire phase. So now this vehicle here is actually better defended. So I don't have a problem with that. You know, here comes the rush. These guys are going to rush through. You know, the trucks. Blam, 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 blam. Most of these guys get through. And again, this is what should have happened. Of course, the squad next to him rolls a 5, just vaporizes the unit. I think I rolled a 7. Crew survival on something. Something survived. A couple units break. It's going to happen. Got a giant stack LaFleur. Here's LaFleur, and this is what he should be used for, is to clear out this bullshit here. And so I actually did bring him to come to use. Advanced fire. I don't even know if I break him. I do break a couple units up here. The bazooka boy. Great shot. It means one of these guys definitely. One's a leader, one's a dummy. Almost 100%. Don't know who. I really don't care which one's which. Because if it's a leader, he's not going to fire on me. If it's a dummy, he's not going to fire on me. I just need to keep them kind of out of the fight, or make sure that if this unit breaks, he doesn't go to that particular location based upon his behavior. And so this guy breaks. So at this point, C3 is highly likely to be a dummy. Sure, there's not a lot of good shots that he has so far. So there's a small percentage that he's not a dummy. But as these units are moving here, and he's really kind of not moving over in that general vicinity, might give you a little clue. So he's sticking right there. Again, this little guy moves back here. I'm trying to get to that guy. And so I pressure on. He drops a fire lane. This is a really good reminder. Whatever color you use, probably red would be the best. And put it in the off-center ones. That way, you know, whatever the guy's moving that hex, that's where he shot. Like if you move into C7, not in the fire lane. Don't get shot. But if I move here, I am in the fire lane. You get shot. Over here, not a fire lane. Easiest way to determine it instead of taking 15 minutes and dropping those residual fire markers out there. This works efficiently well. Not my idea. I watched it from some other guys playing on VASL. And probably about a year and a half ago, 2 years. And it's a great usage for the little arrows. And over here, the motorcyclist trying to get over here. This is a lot of movement points to bypass all this crap. But he gets to here, DMs this unit. Unfortunately, I can't quite get into the position I need to force him to get up in the top area. I want him to kind of have to move like this way instead of this way. And unfortunately, his closest cover is this location. And he can get to it quite easily. And guess what? Because I'm on the motorcycle, and I think because I'm on the motorcycle, he has no. Oh no, he does have firepower, but he's half firepower, so he can't interdict. Unfortunately, as being mounted fire. So if he's like in a half track, he'd be fine. But again, I knew that I couldn't interdict, but I was trying to hopefully force him otherwise. Again, here's one of the blown up trucks, blown up half tracks, another blown up truck. All of those are TEMs and hindrances, by the way, now. So that's the beauty of it. Is as long as you line them up perfectly, then you're going to be getting those modifiers. 237 up here DMs this unit, and maybe, if these units break, maybe I can get behind him so he can't continue to route in a safer location. That's the entire guy's purpose here. He can always get back on the road and then haul tail it, freeload it off the map. And so I could bust my ass and get off the map for a point. But during the interim, his purpose is to stop route pass. And he's on a sidecar, so he can't overrun. And just stop routing pass, so he can't route anywhere. So he gets bullied by these machine guns that are down here. Great firepower, 4+1, 4+1. Considering my strategy, those are strong shots. Everybody else is mounted. They're all half firepower. So, but again, the key here is, are we here to engage them, or are we here to get by them? A little bit of both, but you don't need everyone to drop off. And again, scenario special rule, if you drop off the trucks, they got to go. And so these guys down here can't get off the trucks. My trucks down there, what they're going to do is they're going to plow through those woods. How much does it take to plow through the woods? Right there. All with a bog. And this guy, again, because truck movement, bypass and stuff is really slow. So we got a real unit pops up here, 546. The real heroes of this particular scenario are the 2666 squads you have, simply because of their range. That gives you an extra kill column on the star vehicle chart. If you fire in 6x range, you need a 6 to immobilize the trucks, which is very important. Otherwise, you need a 5, so that makes a big difference. Makes it much easier to roll those values. So, again, he DM'd here. The whole point was if I had my motorcyclist in the back, he wouldn't be able to kind of move out of my line of sight. He still may be in my line of sight, but I'm not sure. It's pretty damn tight. And again, the mortar's in such a position that if he couldn't route, he'd still have to be there, remain getting pounded, and he would simply just be eliminated. Give me a slightly better chance. That was the basic core concept. Yeah, I've got my mortar exactly where I want it to now. DuPont is here running around trying to rally units on his motorcycle. He goes zip, 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 zip. And he does a really good job at that. Really impressed with DuPont's rallying ability. He's a natural leader. And hopefully he'll go on to make some paint later on and other strong chemicals in the United States. And so again, we get a broken unit over here. Don't really like this because he's going to instantly rally next turn. I just simply couldn't do anything. My units can't move that fast because they're truck movement. They're just not going to be able to get in that position. So I did like this unit coming up here. He got a lucky shot, popped me. You know, it is what it is. So I just stayed there, stayed broke. LaFleur came down with a big medium and the big fat 457 to help rally this unit. Obtained a good defensive position in DD6 to help blast this unit and clear the way. Didn't quite work out that way. First truck goes through. Lots of scrape. Man, that truck needs to do paint job after this. All those branches scratching the living shit out of the side of that truck. You know. And I'm just moving the motorcycle here. It's easier that way. And he gets like another snake eyes or 3 and blasts those guys. Again, force fire. I'm not sure. Yeah. Force a shot on him there. And here, I just simply don't really have a lot of time. It's like, well, he needs a 7 to hit me with the bazooka. He's either going to hit me or not, because I think Hill was pinned. And he's either going to hit me or not with that. It's like, you know, I'll take the 7 now over some other time. Not really worried about it. And, you know, I figured he rolled a 3, and the VASL bot will probably follow up with an 11, make sure it's an even value of 7. So I decided to swing on through, and yeah, no, it just does the six rolls in a row of 3. So yeah, his rolls have been pretty sweet so far. 4, 4, 3, and a 3. So, but sometimes, I mean, even now, I mean, I still have a decent possibility of still winning this game. I don't have anybody off yet, but the vehicle's 5, and the leader's 2, and the squad under him's 2. So that's 9 points in these 2 locations here, and I got 2 trucks and lots of other guys still moving. So even shit like this happened, that's fine. Plus, he's blazing, which gives me a little bit better cover. So I don't have a problem with that. Don't have a problem in him getting those shots. And of course, I think I get stunned there or some shit. Maybe not. All these guys trying to move up, getting their last blast. And of course, you know, the 8. If this 8 guy, if that was a line of sight, I'm not sure if it was or not. But if I had a chance to DM him, he'd only have 1 unit, in all honesty, to be able to shoot my guys as they're going off. And that guy looks like got vaporized. Or sniper, some shit like that. Oh, that's a mortar shot. I think that was a mortar shot. Maybe not. Anyway, this guy got eliminated, which is cool. Problem is, you get 2 squads here. Could be a problem. And again, we have points. It's pretty rough now simply because they got trucks, and all he's going to do is DM my broken units. And you don't score points with units that are broken when you exit them. You can exit them on vehicles, and so, but you do not score victory points with broken units, unfortunately. And so we continue to move. DuPont comes up. DuPont, I think, just runs off. And here's a broken truck here. And I just go over here and I park it here. Just as I was talking about, broken units do not score points. That's why he didn't bother to shoot at him. Well, if I park him here and I got 1 more turn left, if I roll a 5 or less, actually a 4, I think self-rally, yeah, 4 or less, I get a victory point. Otherwise, I just drive him off like normal. So I park him here. He can't reach me. It's a safe spot. And so that was the idea there, is park him there, lose your DM status, and hopefully self-rally that unit next turn. Again, all these units here were broken, unfortunately. If these were good order, I could load at least 1 guy up on the truck, at least a half squad, and then the other guys could try to prep fire and break some of these guys. So, again, this is 2 points here, 7 points here, 8, 9, 10 there, and then I got the leader off for 11, potentially 11, right? And so even with all the destruction right here in the center and early immobilizations, I got the 237 here that still is viable to potentially get off. I got a 237 here. All I have to do is pop on this road and drive by. Yeah, you got to dodge the bullet. But hey, anybody can roll 11s. I mean, you only need to avoid 1 or 2 shots. And that's easy enough to do. So just take the shots. You know, that's why you're here. So even now, when I've got like practically nobody left, there's a slim chance of me getting off. But of course, he rolls like the hit of 6 or 3 or some shit like that. I'm not sure why that bounced down. And I think it was a bazooka or the medium or something like that. Somebody rolled it to hit. And another to kill a 4 will definitely do it. So a couple 4 to kills on the vehicles definitely destroys them at the range of 6 because it's a +1. So good shots, you know, good dice rolls, good consecutive dice rolls to finish off those vehicles. I don't think these guys here could do anything about the vehicle. Again, I needed it to kind of just break 1 or 2 of these units. This guy was still going to have a tough time getting off, as well as the other guys. But if he wasted that shot on me there and he got no effect, then I'm almost in the clear. So even though, you know, there's a lot of turmoil and discombobulated advancement over here, again, I should have thrown all the motorcycles at one time. I would have had all the motorcycles essentially into this position here where you have a strong front and he can't put anybody on the front line. And then he'd have to start backing people up over here. And that could be possible. But then you just, you know, then you could just move to the next step. You move guys down here and you have cover. And these guys are overrunnable because you're on the road now. And then all your vehicles can get to them. But center position, really key right in here. If your vehicles can get here at turn 3 or later, you can get off. You could actually get here about turn 3 in the center. And this little center area here, it takes about 3 turns to get there. And it only takes 1 turn to get off from that distance on any of your vehicles. So you can legit on turn 3 on 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, 5, and 6, or 4, 5, and 6, the case may be, because it takes turn 3 to get there. You can actually engage in combat if you wanted to. If you got a couple lucky shots from your tanks, you know, 2 firepower, 4+1, that sort of thing. You can engage a couple units, break them, and then go off. So, to be honest with you, you do actually have a lot of combat time, which I didn't really think you would in this one, simply because you're just going to be taking those shots anyway to get off. You know, you may not be able to clear all of his units, but he won't be able to destroy all your valuables. So yeah, from the center here, you can easily get off with all your vehicles at like 14 movement points. So don't think you need to be at the edge of the board, you know, whatever. You just need to be right here, right in the middle. And this is the key point. And that's why I try to circumvent it. Just like, go down here, and he only has one shot. And, you know, I had some fire there too, so it's not like I didn't have some cover. So, pretty cool. Pretty fun game, to be honest with you. Very short, very small, very vulnerable on both sides. Americans have that 6 morale, vulnerable at every single shot that he takes at you. You're probably gripping it every single time. You're dealing with trucks, motorcycles, -1. I actually enjoyed the motorcycles. They were a lot of fun. You get to move very, very fast. You know, 28 movement points at 3 movement points a hex. You're talking 9 hexes. Your squads and infantry can move over land, and you've got 8 hexes with the sidecars. That's far fast. The mobility and the actual protection you get from the motorcycles far exceeds its bailout status, which is just another dice roll you have to make. And but I for an 8 hex movement, and in terms of games where you need mobility, all day, baby. I'll take that all day. Again, pretty cool game. Picked it out of the attic 2, as the thumbnail suggests. Lots of fun little games in that one there. Hopefully I'll be able to pick out another 1 or 2 that might seem interesting. This was not a desert scenario, obviously, as the movement points suggested. It was just in Morocco. I just wanted to kind of want to change up the theme to make it look kind of different. I mean, when you've got VASL, you might as well make it look a little different. A lot of the guys love the snow. I'm not a big guy changing them to snow unless it actually impacts the game. It's a little bright on my large screen. I guess I could turn down the brightness, but I'm too lazy. But anyway, fun game, enjoyable, tight into the end. I mean, it's turn 6. This is the nitty gritty. I didn't lose on turn 3, so but my plan should not have, again, one more time, should not have bailed out all my motorcycles. Likely push the motorcycles to the olive groves in the woods and establish defense there. And since all of his units were separated from that, none of those units around the orchards or the olive groves and the trees had leaders. So he had 1 leader at the top and 1 leader over here. They could not get anybody that breaks down the bottom is going to remain broken, because if you have troops there, you're just going to pursue them, and that's kind of the plan. So hopefully you guys play this one. If you do, create the VASL log, post it up on the ASL Scenario Archive. Dave would love to see it. I'd love to be able to see it and download it. I check them every once in a while, and you can sort for VASL files. I'd love to see somebody else replay this and do much better than I did as the French. I kind of like playing the French, even though they kind of suck ass on the broken side. They're just kind of fun to play for whatever reason. I don't know. I think the vehicles are so bad. They're either so bad or so good. It's the dichotomy is what's fun to play. But anyway, I hope you guys had a great time playing this. Not a lot of crazy excuse me. Not a lot of crazy special rules other than the motorcycles to bear with. And motorcycles are quite unique, and I did learn some extra things about the motorcycles. They were truly fun to use, and this is a good one. Very good scenarios to use the motorcycles in and learn what they can do. Very, very good scenario. So don't choose those other shitty scenarios where you just drive up and dump them off. That's all garbage. This is a great one. So play this one. Let us know. Post it on VASL. Post it in the ASL Skills Discord server. In ASL, just put in ASL Game of the Month. I'll find it. It'll pop up. And I'd love to review your games. That'd be kind of great. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Go out there, play some ASL, buy some good ASL shit. Stuff on Wargame Vault's cheap. Rules are $60. That's practically free, to be honest with you, considering just considering the electronic rule book. It's just a great deal. All their maps, their annuals, their journals. You got a pack of 10, 12, whatever, however many are in there. Definitely worth $30 or $40 it costs. Tons of good articles in there. Just a gigantic array of information and scenarios from those two sources. I'm glad they put that out. And they have actually Out of the Attic 1, and picked that one up too. That's really an oldie, ancient one, but still some good shit. A little outdated, but I think it's like $6 or something like that. I mean, drink some water tomorrow instead of going to Starbucks, and you'll get a free Out of the Attic, courtesy of M&P. All right, take care, and we'll catch you guys later.